Hello and welcome everyone to Women Speakers Association's WSA-TV. I'm Laura Rubenstein, your host and producer, and also the digital media and marketing strategist and author of the book Social Media Myths Busted: The Small Business Guide to Online Revenue. As you can see here on the screen, today's topic is a biggie. It's how to have financial freedom, financial harmony, and inner harmony. And that could involve financial freedom. We have two experts here who are chomping at the bit, ready to share with us their wisdom. So I want to say hello to them and have you. Well, first of all, I want to share my screen and let you know who they are. They are Penelope, Tzougros, and Vivian Gale, otherwise known as Freedom. So now I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let's say hi to them. Hi, Penelope.
Hi there. Thank you, Laura. Delighted to be talking to you from Boston. I'm a financial planner and author of an upcoming book, Home Sweet Home or Not.
Beautiful. Great to have you here, Penelope. And hi, Vivian.
Hi, Laura. I'm happy to be here as well. And I am a life coach, author, and a transformational speaker, and the founder of the Personal Freedom Center. My website is viviangale.com. And also I'm on YouTube and Facebook.
Lovely to have you both here. Very exciting because of the variety, the diversity, but the very important areas you specialize in. And given that you specialize in particular, Penelope, on financial, working with people on their finances, what is the key to financial harmony? What advice do you have for people to help them reach that?
They need to think about three things. One is they need to be able to answer, how long will their money last? They need to think about themselves in a way that Vivian, I think, would also say. Their mind, body, and spirit need to all go together. And they need to think about, as retirees, where should they live? It's not such an easy question.
Yeah, these are really key questions. And why these three questions?
Because you need to have respect for your money. After all, the money represents your life energy, and it's what you offer back up. Especially if you're religious, you have that as an understanding of you're offering it back to God because he gave you those talents to use. So money is really integral to who you are. It's what you exchange all those hours of work for and your creativity. And they hand you money. It doesn't mean the money tells you what it's worth, but it certainly says that's what you've exchanged for it. Wow, that's big stuff.
It is, and most people aren't thinking this way when they think about reaching financial harmony, right? They're thinking about how can I grow my money and all that. So it seems like you take it beyond, a step beyond. Would you agree?
Yeah, it needs to relate to your values. So if your money and your values aren't going the same place, you're going to be very, very upset because you're going to not ever have what you really want. What you need to do is spend your money on what matters to you, not the person down the street, not your parents, you.
And also sounds like you living up to someone else's expectation of what your money goals should be is completely the wrong way to have financial harmony. Would you agree?
Yeah, it won't do it. It won't do it. It's very hard, especially for couples, if they don't have a similar value system. And that's one of the things I do work on when I'm talking with people, is to get them to communicate with each other and say, yeah, this thing is more important than the other. And you can achieve that by going with a zero-up budgeting. If I had started from the very first dollar, what do I have to spend on? What's the next dollar I have to spend on? What's the next one? And then you may get to a point where the money ran out, but you've done the important things first. So that's one way of thinking about your value system. And it's a very interesting, lively conversation among people.
I bet it is. Thank you for that wisdom, thinking about your money in a way from a budgeting of what you want and your values, and from a place of how can you have financial harmony. And you alluded to something that we're going to talk to Vivian about, is that inner harmony, and also like how do you have peace in relationships and harmony in relationships. So Vivian, what advice do you have for our viewers today on achieving inner harmony? And before you answer that, I want to just give a shout out to those of you who are here watching us. Hi, Lee and Tyra. We're so excited you're here. here. And if you have questions as we go along, feel free to put them into the comments on the Women Speakers Association Facebook page, because we love your interaction, engagement. If you love something that either of these women are saying, please like and heart us. We will take in that love from you. And we are so excited about having harmony, both from a financial state and a personal state. So Vivian, what advice do you have with regard to inner harmony?
Well, I love what Penelope said, because financial freedom is one of the core pathways to finding personal freedom. And if you don't have financial freedom, then you're pretty much in misery. When you don't have money, your life is not working. You can put on a fake smile and walk around the world, but until you bring your financial life in balance, and you're not going to be a happy person. And the only way to do that is by knowing who you are. Number one, be in alignment with yourself, with your true self. And when you become more spiritually focused, then you also become more spiritually connected to God. The more you know about God, the more you know about yourself. And the more you know about yourself, the more you know about God. And when you finally get that, then you find your true calling. And when you find your true calling, you end up like on a pathway or a slide or on an intention, where you just find your life path, and your financial answers come as a result of that unity, that harmony.
It's beautiful, something to soak in. You mentioned knowing yourself really well. Where does one begin to do that?
Oh, well, so this has been one of my greatest works in life, is getting honest with myself, examining my thoughts, feelings, and emotions, because they all affect our behavior and our choices and our outcomes. And so what I do is I do an inner reflection. I started doing that at night, asking myself, how was my day? What did I intend to happen and what actually happened? And when I found myself unhappy working for other people, I discovered it's because I was not living out who I was intended to be. I wasn't using my gifts and my talents. I wasn't writing. I wasn't playing my guitar, writing music, and touching people where they are broken and helping them heal. And I believe that's why I'm here. So to do it my way as a counselor, I did it their way. But you have to really get in touch with yourself. People don't want to cry, and that's why people don't heal. It's because they're afraid that that broken part of them is actually going to break in half when they open up and start being honest about who they are, what they went through. And as long as you're in that broken place, you cannot get to the other side of where you want to be financially.
So what I'm hearing on both sides is risking being honest with yourself on what you want, what your values are, and where you're hurting. And that's the only way, so beautifully put by you, Vivian, to get to the other side of freedom, personally and financially, or that harmony, that personal harmony. And I love that your name is Vivian Gale, aka Freedom.
Well, there's a funny story behind that. I was born on June 19th, which is the day that African Americans celebrate their freedom from slavery. I didn't know until I was asked to play my guitar on one of those events. And my girlfriend told me about it. I went and looked it up, and freedom has always been my watchword for life, and so it was funny when I found that out. And the Personal Freedom Center came to me, and now I call myself Freedom. So it's a unity.
It's a beautiful unity, and and today's show is really about that freedom on both sides. So let's get to know each of you a little bit better. And Penelope, tell us a little bit about who you work with, what you do, and what you're passionate about doing with people.
I work mostly with retirees or near retirees, and my intent is to help them think out what are they going to do with the hours of life once they're retired, and then what are they going to do with the money that's going to support that. Because as Vivian so beautifully said, it's about freedom and integrity, knowing yourself. And then, as she said, not everybody would say it the same way, but there is a higher purpose. There is something about our lives that we want it to have meaning. How many retirees come to me and say, I still want to do something purposeful? Well, of course they do. So the answer is they need to talk to Vivian and make sure they cultivate
Thank
that.
you.
And then talk to me and we'll help make sure the money's there to support it. But it is very much those two things together. And that's what I hope to do when I'm talking with retirees, to get them to see themselves as whole persons, not money makers, not a bank account, but a person living very beautiful years and relishing them. So that's what we do together as a financial planner and a person coming to talk to a financial planner.
I love that vision of relishing the future, and being able to do that as a focus for retirement, and relishing the moment, the whole life, and the whole life you have, making your retirement about the the good parts of the past and the relishing that you can do in the current and future. So thank you for the awesome work you do. How did you come to this?
I was poor. I didn't have any money. I was a professor. I did a lot of work. We were paid very badly because we were in the English department and we had lots of essays to grade and lots of students, whereas other professors were paid very handsomely and had very few students and gave 2 exams a year and much less work. So I finally realized that there was a reason that I didn't have enough money. And it wasn't because I was flagrant in spending it or something like that. I just was paid badly. Oh, I didn't know that because I loved what I was doing. So it took me a while. And then because I really do love to learn, I learned about risk and investments and I got myself organized a little bit better.
Sounds like you're relishing the stuff you've learned and now helping others do it.
Yeah. It's learnable too. I think that's one of the takeaways from that is it doesn't matter. I had spent a whole career being an academic and a professor, but everything is learnable. So if you're sitting there saying, oh, I can't do numbers, I can't do money, no. Don't say that. You can do it. Vivian and I can help you. Have the courage to look at that. You can do it. It's easy. It's just money. That's not life. It's just money.
And you don't have to do it alone, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, absolutely.
Mostly. Well, great. All right. So let's go over to Vivian and find out, what are you most passionate about doing for people? Who do you work with and what do you do for them?
I work with people who are ready and willing to take the time and the energy to transform their lives. And it's really important that they are ready to do the work. Yeah. So my ideal client are teens, families, women, single women especially. But I really love working with a family unit because it's like the saying, if there's one bad apple in the bunch, that it spoils the whole bunch. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times when I was doing addiction counseling, we'd work with one person. But when you work with the whole family, then the whole unit can heal because one person in an environment doesn't get unhealthy by themselves. And so we need each other in that same structure to heal. So that's why my passion is to work with families. So again, one bad one spoils the whole bunch.
Beautiful point about that. Thank you for the great work you do. So tell us, how did you get to come to this work?
Well, my story is that I was abandoned and sexually abused as an adolescent, and I ended up growing up in foster care. And during that time, I was never offered counseling. And so I stuffed my emotions and I carried them into my adulthood, but I was carrying all that pain and I was carrying all that trauma. But as I became older, and I started having children, I started to realize that I was transferring some of the things that had happened to me. For instance, like spanking. When I spanked my daughter, I was doing it in a way that I didn't like it being done to me. So I had to find another way. And I ended up becoming a counselor. And I was from Directive, I believe, when I went to a retreat. And that weekend when I left, I was clean and sober 1 year. I'm 24 years clean and sober now. And I said to my higher power before I went that I'm willing to do your will with my life. And that weekend, he said, I want you to go home and write addiction recovery music and become a counselor. And I didn't want to. I wanted to be a broadcaster. I wanted to be Oprah's best friend, Gale King. It's that freedom, And so I struggled with that. And then I was going to register for a class, and I had the book open to go register for broadcasting. and I could not go out the door. The door was unlocked. I could see my car out the window, and the book in my hand, just, I was so frustrated in that moment. And so I threw the book on the floor and I said, "Daggone God, what do you want me to do?" I literally could not put my hand on the door and open it. And the pages of that brand new book, I kid you not, just started flipping on the floor. And I looked through it, tears in my eyes, and it landed on drug and alcohol counseling. And I said, no, not only no, but hell no. Part of my expression. So I went and sat in the corner in the chair and I began weeping. And that weekend and that retreat was very transformational for me. And so in my spirit, I heard the voice say, "You said that you were ready to do my will for your life, and this is my will for your life." So I got up, I went to the college, and I said, "I want to register to be a counselor." And they said, "Well, you're already pre-registered. You can't do that." And so I almost said, "Yay, good." And then the man said, "Okay." And I was like, "Daggone it, I almost got out of it." So I was actually had to surrender. And it's been such a journey for myself, and helping people heal. I was also gaining that healing for myself.
What a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing it. It's very inspiring. Both of you have come from places of frustration, of at your wit's end, not knowing, a fear, and to take on so courageously a healing process, Vivian, and a rebuilding Penelope. You inspire me, and I know you have inspired anyone who's watching this today and watching replays of it. So I want to invite everyone who wants the wisdom that these women have to reach out to these women. You'll find their links wherever you're watching this, whether it's on our WSA-TV.com page, or it's on YouTube or Facebook, or somebody shared this with you. You don't have to go alone. You can have that financial and inner harmony. And Penelope and Vivian are just two of many resources we have here at Women Speakers Association. For other areas of your life too, we have all kinds of support. And I invite you to check us out at joinwsa.com. If you're watching this before February 28th of 2018, it's a very special time to become a paid member. Prices are doubling the monthly. So if you lock in before February 28th, you get to get the original pricing that we have here. So consider doing what Penelope and Vivian have done and become a full-fledged Premier member today. And to just highlight why that's so important and valuable, I wanted to ask each of you, Penelope and Vivian, what value are you getting from your Premier membership here at Women Speakers Association? Let's go over to you, Penelope.
There are tremendous practical nitty-gritties that I love, that I've learned from listening to the interviews. I've gotten so much from tips of various other women. And then listening to Vivian, that story of courage and transformation will feed me for days now. Just to have met her in this context and to know that there's so many like-minded women in this organization, it is thrilling. It is just thrilling.
Yeah, the sisterhood, the community we have here is just one of the many valuables. And you said, I love your word, the nitty gritties. We give you detailed information and detailed and personalized support in a way. So Vivian, tell us, what is the value you've received over the years here?
Well, I started out as a free member, and over the time I was on the website, I started to see all the benefits of becoming a paid member or a Premier member. And so when I was at the point in my life where I was ready to really take my business full circle, I knew that I was going to come back and become a Premier member. So I love it because it aligns me with people who are like-minded, women who are not afraid to take on the challenges, and become an entrepreneur, because I've had a business before and I was really afraid. I was scared. I didn't have support. But here I have support, how to, they even gave me an outline to look at, what it is that I wanted to do and answer questions that helped me more redefine my speaking goals. And so I really like that. It helps me grow my craft. When I went on the website, I was like, oh my goodness, there's so much content here, and so I always know that I can go back there and grow. And every time I go back there, I'm going to get more assistance and to become better and to be effective and most of all, to be successful.
Wow. Well, I think that's, it speaks for itself. You both are beautiful examples of premier membership and the benefits of it. Again, go to joinwsa.com if you'd like to join us, and check us out at the free level. But if you do join before February 28th, we'll take good care of you and you'll lock in the lowest rate possible you could get for your life of your membership with us. All right, that's been our episode today, ladies. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, for joining us, for getting the wisdom here, and much financial and inner harmony to everyone. We'll see you next week for another episode of WSA-TV. Bye for now.